The early morning mist hung heavy over the shattered landscape of eastern Ukraine. Russian forces believed they had finally broken through. Intelligence reports suggested Ukrainian units were in full retreat, pulling back to regroup. Convoys of Russian armored vehicles rolled confidently through the bombed-out roads, their commanders convinced victory was near. The chatter over the radios was filled with optimism. After months of grinding battles and heavy losses, it looked like the long-awaited breakthrough had finally come. But what they didn't know was that the retreat they were celebrating was nothing more than a carefully orchestrated trap. As the Russian columns advanced deeper into what they thought was abandoned territory, silence surrounded them. No artillery, no drones overhead, no sign of the Ukrainian defenders who had fought so fiercely only days before. It was too quiet, but excitement clouded their judgment. They pushed forward, unaware that Ukrainian forces had deliberately pulled back to draw them into a deadly kill zone. Hidden in the tree lines, in underground bunkers, and behind ridges, Ukrainian artillery units had locked in their coordinates. Then, at precisely 9:47 a.m., the silence shattered. A storm of shells rained down from every direction. HIMARS rockets screamed through the air, hitting the lead and tail of the Russian convoy. Tanks exploded in flames, blocking the narrow road. Trapped in chaos, Russian soldiers scrambled for cover, but there was nowhere to run. Ukrainian drones appeared overhead, relaying live footage to command centers miles away. Within seconds, precision strikes were called in, targeting every vehicle still moving. What had looked like an easy victory had turned into a deadly ambush. For the next hour, the battlefield was consumed by fire and confusion. Ukrainian special forces emerged from concealed positions, striking fast and vanishing just as quickly. Anti-tank missiles ripped through armored columns. Russian communication lines were jammed, their drones blinded by electronic warfare. Commanders tried desperately to regroup, but their maps were outdated, their intel completely wrong. The retreat had been fake, the weakness a decoy. Ukraine had studied Russian tactics and turned them against them with brutal efficiency. By noon, what remained of the Russian advance was in disarray. Smoke billowed across the fields as Ukrainian reinforcements pushed forward, reclaiming the very ground they had abandoned. Soldiers raised the blue and yellow flag once more over positions Russia had thought were theirs. Ukrainian morale soared, while Russian units fell back, leaving behind burning wrecks and shattered equipment. The message was clear: this war was far from over, and Ukraine was not retreating. It was adapting, striking smarter and harder every time. News of the counterattack spread fast. Across the Russian front, confusion turned to panic. Reports came in of entire battalions cut off, of supply lines destroyed, of soldiers refusing to advance into what they now called the Valley of Death. Ukrainian social media lit up with footage of the ambush, the destroyed tanks, and the captured equipment, proof that the defenders had turned the tide once again. As night fell, the battlefield lay quiet once more, littered with the wreckage of what was meant to be a Russian victory. The Ukrainian forces withdrew to new positions, ready for the next strike. They had proven a powerful truth, that courage, strategy, and intelligence could defeat even the mightiest of armies. The Russians thought Ukraine was in full retreat, but instead, they walked straight into the jaws of their own defeat. This was not just another battle. It was a reminder to the world that in this war, every step forward could be a step into the unknown, and for those who underestimate Ukraine, it might just be the last step they ever take.